nip and tuck the first couple of rounds, but I thought I nicked a few of the early ones, and I thought it was quite convincing. But yeah, you've got to go back and watch it back and see where I went wrong, and me and Tony will pick the bones out of it for next time.
I'm sure you will. I think the first 6 rounds consensus was that Jacobs looked in control of the distance, and it looked like you had trouble closing that gap. What changed in the middle of the fight, do you think?
I think just getting a measure of him, looking at him, feeling his power. I mean, he's been up at world level for a long, long time. He's been with a load of good fighters, and just wanted to see what he had, really. And, I mean, look where we are now.
You start letting your hands go, 7, 8, 9. It got pretty attritional, and you hurt him in those moments. Did you sense that was when the tide started to really turn in your favour?
Yeah, I think I hurt him in round 8. I felt like I kind of had round 9 off. Just had a look at him. I thought he was going to come and have a big round, and then I'd be able to step on round 10. But he didn't come out as I thought he would. But listen, we got the win. That was the most important thing.
Tony, you've worked with this man his whole career. How proud are you that he's finally got that big win that he deserves so much?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's beat a major superstar really tonight, and when you look at his resume, like he's only lost to Golovkin and Canelo, you know, and then John's beat him tonight. It's incredible, you know, and John really should be a world champion, really. Do you know what I mean? And he's beating major names like that. I'm just hoping Eddie can lure Canelo to the Wembley Stadium now, because you know Canelo wants to fight in the UK, and but obviously he hasn't had an opponent up to now, but he's got one there in John Ryder.
Eddie, over to you. I mean, I guess the super middleweight division at the moment dominated by Canelo, and very much what he decides to do will dictate the opportunities that come John's way, won't it?
Yeah, I think, look, Sal obviously wants to fight in the UK. He's got his plans prepared and nearly locked in for this year, but I think if he wants to fight in the UK, he's got the perfect opponent. You know, I don't see any other super middleweights in the country, I hope, that have standout victories like that. John Ryder just beat Daniel Jacobs tonight. You know, and it was his attrition that got him through that fight, his desire to win that fight. And he's been on the end of a lot of bad decisions. Tonight was a very close fight, could have gone either way, but it was one that went his way. And I think when you look back on his career, at the times when he might not have got the decision, tonight he deserved the decision. And it's a massive win for him, because Tony and Charlie have put a lot of pressure on us to deliver. We brought Daniel Jacobs to Alexandra Palace, and like Tony says, Daniel Jacobs has lost to Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. But tonight he lost to John
Dimitri
Ryder. It's a massive
P.
victory for John Ryder, and I hope he goes on to fight for a world title, because he really deserves it.
John, just a quick word before we go on the fans and the support you've had tonight, because this North London faithful have followed you here. How's it been?
It's been great. I mean, I've not boxed in London since 2018 now. Been on the road, Vegas, Liverpool, Miami, and Austria. Now back to North London, Alexandra Palace. Just thank you for turning out. Thank you, Eddie, for getting in there. Thank you, Tony, Charlie, Dan, Seltzer, Bill. You're the best in the game.
And when you hear the potential of a Canelo fight maybe next year, how does that make you feel?
Tonight's my night.
Good man. Congratulations, John.
All right, let's talk. Danny Jacobs just got some hometown cooking. Nice meal on the bad end of a split decision loss to 168-pound contender John Ryder. A fight where, me personally, it is on paper, it was a dangerous fight for Danny Jacobs coming off of a layoff. And he lost control of the second half of the fight. So looking at the 100 first, let's look at Danny Jacobs. He is now 37-4 with 30 KOs. His last fight was in November of 2020 against Gabriel Rosado. That was a stinker. And funny enough, Gabriel Rosado was doing commentary on the fight, laughing, you know, about him getting robbed. Before that, money fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Let's go full screen. And then the big fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez. And then, of course, several years back, 5 years or so, he fought, damn, it was that long ago? He fought Golovkin. Golovkin's returning to fight Murata sometime soon. And rumors are, you know, he'll probably be fighting Canelo again if he beats Murata. John Ryder, 31-5 with 17 KOs. Many people, including myself, thought that he won this Callum Smith fight. Shockingly, he lost to Rocky Fielding. You know, this is a little crazy. Like, this is a significant upset. Looking at the 168-pound division, of course, Canelo's number one after he defeated Caleb planned to become undisputed back in November. Zach Parker and Demetrius Andrade, want to fight, to be WBO mandatory for Canelo. The WBA mandatory is supposed to be John Ryder, or will John Ryder be ordered to fight David Morrell to be the mandatory for Canelo? I think that's the way it's going to go. With the what the WBA has been doing, consolidating their belts. And also you have to think, I don't see Canelo fighting him, if you really want me to be honest. Looking at the 168-pound division, the pecking order, you have Benavidez and Lemieux, who are supposed to be fighting to be the mandatory for the WBC. Don't be surprised if WBC makes Canelo franchise. Over here, you have John Ryder and Morrell, who, my understanding, of things, they're supposed to fight. There's no IBF contender yet. And then Zach Parker and Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade are going after the WBO. But yeah, Danny Jacobs pretty much lost control of the second half of the fight, even though I do feel he won the fight, a close fight. But, in a close decision, in the man's hometown, he's from wherever they fought, right? I mean, we do know it took place in the UK. It's just like, Danny Jacobs, And it's like, where does he really go from here? How do you feel? Like, he still has something left, but he's also a highly paid fighter under Eddie Hearn. So you can't just throw him in there against anybody. So it's like, my personal opinion, I think he needs to get back out there. But his plans have been derailed. Like that shit, like losing to John Ryder, it's not a good look. But shout out to John Ryder. I can't say that it's like, listen, he lost the fight. John Ryder should have lost a close fight. But, it is what it is. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe.